What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here at JGilbo11, taking a look at some GPP bets for tonight's slate. 4 games, so I mean, if you're looking to be different, you got to really be different to stand out. Diamondbacks are going to come in as chalk, but we'll talk about them anyway here. Looking at catcher tonight, definitely in a weak position, definitely a position where you can pay down at. 3 guys I'm considering: Austin Hedges against Walker. You look at Walker, reverse splits pitcher, home run prone as well. I do like him, but I do see the appeal of some Padres bats as well against him. I think obviously I think both are GPP options because it just can go that way. But look at Hedges. I mean, off to a nice start here. Home run potential in this ballpark is favorable. His price tag on DraftKings still very cheap, $3K. FanDuel, it's up there at $3K as well. It's not the same $3K as it is over on DraftKings. I think on FanDuel, you can make a spinoff and go with the Stephen Vogt. You look at Nolasco, averaging against lefties in his career. The only downgrade for these A's bats is the ballpark, but on a 4-game slate, I'm willing to put that aside to be a little bit contrarian. So Vogt is a guy who should hit about 5th or 6th in that lineup. I don't mind going his way tonight against Nolasco. Another one, if Chris Herman's in the lineup against Jared Weaver, and we're just going to make this collectively known, Jared Weaver is awful. We're going to stack against him. We're going to play a lot of Diamondbacks, and we're going to win some money. So, Herman's a guy who is a value on both sides. You can certainly go his way. Just make sure he's in the lineup because they do like to rotate catchers quite a bit there. So do note that. As far as first base goes, I think Paul Goldschmidt stands out as one of your higher priced, chalkier options for obvious reasons. Jared Weaver. As far as other guys go, I mean, Will Myers is a logical pivot in that same game. Matt Carpenter is certainly playable. If he's in the game 2 of the doubleheader, that's one thing to keep an eye on. If you're looking to go kind of even more contrarian, Mitch Moreland off to a nice start. Masahiro Tanaka has been kind of struggling a little bit. I do expect his numbers to normalize here. Everything's kind of a little bit higher than what you expect. But tonight I think Moreland's an intriguing option. Been swinging the bat well. Not sure you're going to get a lot of ownership on him either. So, Moreland, 180 ISO off right-handed pitching going back to last year. Doubles have been piling up here in Boston. Should be some RBI opportunities for him as well. So I am intrigued there. If you need to go value, Albert Pujols is a guy I'll take a look at. Graveman since last year, 1.27 home runs per 9. Pujols, obviously not the guy he used to be, but 170 ISO off righties isn't that bad. So those guys are certainly playable tonight. Second base, if you're on DraftKings, Jerko's a guy you can take a look at. He's been filling in for Johnny Peralta. Once again, with these Cardinals guys, be sure to check out the lineups beforehand to see if they're in. But I don't mind him. Yanfer Solarte, once again, if you're on DraftKings, you can use him as well against Walker. The only issue on FanDuel, your only real options are Starling Castro against Chris Sale. That's tough. Devin Travis against Wainwright if he's in the line. Travis has been off to a scuffling start this year. I might take a look at Jed Lowry for salary relief. I know it's not a sexy play. I know it's not a high upside play, but to fit in Diamondbacks bats and Wainwright and Sale, you might need to do it. So because there's a lack at the position on FanDuel, I don't mind just going down to Lowry and saving some cash, unless something opens up where guys pop up in the top half of the lamp around him and show a little bit more power. So second base, incredibly weak position tonight. Third base, Jake Lamb obviously takes the cake here against Weaver. 369 Woboff right-handers going back to last year, 272 ISO. Jed Jerko isn't the other guy that I can take a look at the position. I definitely don't mind using him. Ryan Healy starting to come around a little bit more. You look at Nolasco, 333 WOBA. To righties going back to last year, 1.53 home runs per 9. But really the only downside is that ballpark. It's not friendly for power. But A's are a team I can certainly see coming around against Nolasco tonight. They should be lower owned as well. So I don't mind mixing them in just with their prices being very cheap. You can go that route. Shortstop, Aledmys Diaz, struggling to start the year, but obviously going back to last year, hit righties very well. A guy against Casey Lawrence who doesn't miss many bats and has kind of been, very pedestrian in his minor time in the majors. His minor numbers, not that great. Doesn't miss bats. Does roll some ground balls, which is a plus for him, but Cardinals over a 4.5 run total, I'm certainly okay with firing away there. Bogarts would be an intriguing GPP option because I don't see many paying for his price against Tanaka on this slate. Chris Owings is probably going to be the popular guy in the lineup tonight. Shortstop against Weaver. Weaver, 366 WOBA. He's going back to last year, 2.02 home runs per nine. Like I said, Diamondbacks are going to be a team you can fire away with here. But that's about it. I mean, Bogarts, Owings, Diaz are kind of your only real shortstop options. Outfield, we'll get the obvious ones out of the way here. Pollock, David Peralta, certainly playable as Diamondbacks once again against Jared Weaver. A couple other guys. I mean, Cardinals bats, Stephen Piscotty, Dexter Fowler, I have some interest in. I know both of them haven't got off to the greatest starts to the season, but I did like picking on Casey Lawrence. Looking at some other guys, I mean, you can certainly go the route of an Andrew Benintendi. I like his price on DraftKings, only 3,700. Manuel Margot is hitting right-handed pitching very well to start the year, so I definitely have some interest in those guys. As far as other bats go, I mean, Chris Davis you can look at for a GPP potential. Some of these guys do have a little bit of you got Chris Owings who's outfield eligible. So you do have some of that on DraftKings. But overall, I mean, Yasmani Tomas, Peralta, Pollock are kind of your top options there. Fowler, Benintendi come in secondary. JBJ, interesting pivot off of some of those names too. If you're looking to go that way, I don't mind it. I think that's kind of where I'm primarily focusing. Mike Trout, I mean, 5,700 on DraftKings. I don't know if I'd quite be paying up. I mean, this is a guy who just basically has to have a monster game for him to really get going and pay off that price tag. So I think if I'm paying up, I mean, it's going to be Mookie Betts in terms of a GPP option. It's just kind of a pivot. Otherwise, I'd rather just use Pollock, Peralta, and kind of take that there because no other real names are standing out. I mean, we might get someone as the night goes on, but Yankees, I mean, you're taking incredibly risk just going up against Sale right now with guys like Judge or Castro. So it's probably a route that I'm not going to be going down. Cole Calhoun, intriguing option as well. So, I rather much go with the late night games and really pick on the stud pitching with like Wainwright going in Sale. I think that's my direction tonight. So be sure to check out that Cards lineup when it comes out prior to the 4 o'clock slate. But everything else should be good to go. No real weather concerns. So good luck tonight, guys.